everyone? Welcome to my Extreme Rules live stream. Today we are chatting all things Extreme Rules. And guys, there is so much to talk about here today, but let's go ahead and get right into it. What's up, everyone? I'm Denise Salcedo, and I'm really excited because not only do we have tons to talk about here today, but I'm also trying out this new cool software. So you guys are totally going to be seeing like lots of new graphics and like little things like this. So it's going to be lots of fun. But let's go ahead and start talking about Extreme Rules. Actually, hold on. Before we get to that, I do want to take a moment to thank Wrestle Talk because they seriously did me like and gave me an incredible opportunity to come onto their platform, which is a very, very big platform, and, you know, just sort of give my thoughts on wrestling and whatnot. And to be able to be part of their reaction show today was a lot of fun. And I'm happy to announce that I literally got 500 new subscribers because of my appearance on Wrestle Talk here on YouTube. So thank you guys so much for everyone that came in here and decided to subscribe to my channel. And more importantly, thank you to everyone who came on in and decided to watch this Extreme Rules recap. So the horror show was definitely a horror show. We saw an eyeball come out of a man, everyone, an eyeball, okay? We saw another man puke, legit throwing up. We saw a possible new women's champion and a psychological sort of bizarre swamp fight. There's so much to talk about here tonight. So this is what we're going to do today. We are going to run through each and every single match one by one, starting from the pre-show to the main event. And then we are also going to go ahead and talk about, you know, obviously what we thought about everything. But before we get started, I do want to give some shout outs to everyone who is in here. Sup to Joshua KB, who says, "What's up?" That's my grandma in the background. She just decided to make her second cameo of the day. We also have Zoe, who says hello. We also have DTMR, who says, "Now you might be asking, where in the hell have I been?" Yes, where in the hell have you been? Shout out to Chris DeZuba, Sony TV, Michael Esquivel, and D-Train Riot Maker. And so, oh my gosh, guys, thank you so much to Sam Pi Boone, who just sent in my first super chat, $4.99. Thank you so much. He says, "I like Impact Wrestling Slammiversary. It was better than Extreme Rules tonight." You are the second person that I've seen on Twitter or like on social media say that they felt they liked Slammiversary more than Extreme Rules. Now, I watched Slammiversary last night, and obviously I just watched Extreme Rules. And I will say this, they were two very, very different shows. Slammiversary had a lot of really big moments. Chris Bay versus Willie Mack was absolutely incredible. We saw EC3. I mean, there was just so much that happened on the show, but I also think that Extreme Rules also had a lot to talk about. There's like a lot that happened that it's a different type of show. So if you wanted to watch just like straight out wrestling, okay, you might have preferred Slammiversary better. But if you wanted to watch something a little bit more, I think that Extreme Rules did a really good job today because there was a lot of really good stuff. But here, send me your thoughts, guys. Before we get into each match, I do want to get like a quick rundown of what you guys thought of the show overall. So here we go. The first one that we have here is from Sharif Mills. He says, "The girls' match blew the roof off." Were you talking about Bailey, Nikki, or Sasha and Asuka, or both of them? Go ahead and let me know what you thought about that one as well, or which one, or maybe all of them. Let's see, we have Joshua, who says, "I came over from Wrestle Talk and I'm already hooked." Thank you so much. I really try to make this stream interactive, so hopefully you'll have a good time. Devin Mercer, who sent another super chat, $5. Thank you so much, Devin. He says, "Excited to be here. Over the show, overall, the show was okay." I'm going to say that I think that there have been so many pay-per-views where there wasn't that much to talk about, but today's show actually gave me a lot to talk about. There was moments where I legit had to like do this, and that was during the eye for an eye match, because if you're somebody that does not like to see things get near someone's eye, it is going to make you cringe. Jonathan Hedman says, I was afraid that WWE would do cinematic too many times. Look, after tonight's swamp fight, I don't want to see a cinematic match for a while. I didn't like the street fight. I didn't like how that was shot. And I thought that today's swamp fight kind of had me a little bit. I think a lot of people liked it. I'm not going to go out here and say that I liked it. I was not really a fan. So that's why I'm going to say that I want to break right now from cinematic matches. Sandro Toledo, thank you so much for also sending me a super chat. You don't have a comment, but thank you so much for sending it. Let's see. Finbar White says, the Bray ending was a bit disappointing. Yes, it really was. And not only that, was I the only person who got the copyright ending logo before the actual show ended? That sort of made it think that the match had ended when it really had not. Let's see. DTMR says, Ray showing his eyes. Everyone in my house was freaked out. In my head, I said, ever heard of contacts? Now I'm not trying to be that type of guy, but everyone in my house acting like it was World War III. So there you have it. The eye for an eye match caused World War III for a DTMR. Guys, I have a lot to say about that match, but we're just going to go ahead and get started. We're going to go match by match. So let's go ahead and kick it off with what was actually a really good opening match, which was Kevin Owens versus Murphy. This was the pre-show match, and I will say this. I thought that in having a guy like Kevin Owens in the pre-show match kind of makes it feel like more of a big deal. So because of that, I was really happy about it. Now, Buddy Murphy, yeah, he's sort of, I would say, maybe mid-card or maybe a little bit higher than mid-card. But overall, having both of these guys on the pre-show, I thought was a really good idea. And first of all, I have to say that I loved this match. I thought this was a really good match to get people excited for the show and actually sort of kicked off like a certain vibe that we would get to see continue on throughout the show. So Kevin Owens, Buddy Murphy, it was a great start right off the bat. It was action, okay? And here's the thing that I've noticed about Kevin Owens matches, that in recent times, like his latest matches, they've all started very, very fast paced. And I really enjoy that, because so many matches, they start off really slow, and more often than not, then they do start slow. So having Kevin Owens just kind of kick it off right off the bat was really good for me. What some of the highlights for this match, Murphy took some great bumps in this match. He took a whipping. Kevin Owens dominated, I would say, more than half of this match, but the bumps that Buddy took, Buddy Murphy, I keep calling him, I know it's just Murphy, but I keep calling him Buddy Murphy, but whatever, you guys get it. The bumps that Murphy took really made Kevin Owens look that much more dominating. It made him look that much more impressive. So I thought that we saw a lot of really cool moments throughout this match. We saw some double knees to the face of Kevin Owens from the top rope, which was pretty awesome. In the end, we saw Kevin Owens win, which is what I expected, but overall, I still thought that it was a good match. What did you guys think of this opening match? And what did you think of having somebody like Kevin Owens sort of, be part of the pre-show? BTW, we got some super chats that I need to make sure to point out here. Let me scroll back up 1 second, guys. I'm using this new software, so this is all new for me right now. Devin said, we saw this one, that he was excited to be here. Okay, we saw that one. Okay, never mind. I saw them. Oh, wait, no, Bobby Stevens. There you go. He says, this show's motto is great matches with stupid endings. I'm glad I found your channel. Great work. I think that was a theme for today, guys. That was a theme for Extreme Rules. We saw a lot of interesting endings, which we'll get to once we get to those specific matches. But overall, that was sort of a theme here for today. But what did you guys think of Kevin Owens versus Murphy? Let's see. We have Joseph Boza. He says, surprised that that was a pre-show match. Yes, but I also think that pre-show matches should be exciting. They should get people to entice them to buy the show. Finbar White says, Kevin Owens versus AJ for the title would be good as Owens such a good wrestler. Dude, Kevin Owens has been adding so much more to his skill set that we haven't really seen as of late. And I feel like every single match that he's been in, he's added a little bit of a surprise, which I personally enjoy. Chris DeZuba says Murphy is an awesome worker. Not only is Murphy an awesome worker, but we haven't even gotten peak Murphy. I don't feel it. I've said this in the Raw recap before on Fightful with Sean Ross Sapp. I have said that I was happy that Buddy Murphy joined Seth Rollins because it really brought him out of this slump that he was in prior, and it brought more focus to him. But I do think that now he's sort of in the shadow of Seth Rollins, and I really do think that we need to see more of Buddy Murphy. Like, we definitely need to see a lot more of him. St. Clair says, the Owens moonsault was amazing. Yes, that was a really, really cool. And the way that he did it, I thought it was one of the best moments of this match for sure. All right, what else are we seeing here? All right, here we go. Oh, we saw this one. Randall Hollis's great shows ending pre-show match was awesome. Yes. D-Train says it's a buffer show to SummerSlam. Well, they were planting a lot of seeds, I think, today for SummerSlam. So I think that was definitely one of the things that we expected. But overall, Kevin Owens versus Murphy was a good match. Oh, guys, we got another super chat. Michael Mathis says, matches were great and everyone worked their asses off. Yes. See, here's the thing. I know a lot of people were trashing the endings, but there was a lot of really good wrestling on this show. And I think that's one of the things that we're going to go ahead and dive into afterwards. But let's go ahead and move on, guys. So I think we all can agree that Kevin Owens versus Murphy was a really great way to start the show. But here we go. The first match of the main card was the New Day, Kofi and Big E versus Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura in a tables match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. And I did not expect a title change here, but it happened. And I gotta say that I'm really excited to see Shinsuke and Cesaro as champions here today. So what did you guys think? Did you think that the New Day was going to retain? Or did you think that Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura were actually going to win? I'm going to go ahead and have your comments pulled up here. But let's go ahead and talk about the match itself. So earlier I mentioned that Kevin Owens and Buddy Murphy sort of kicked off this vibe for Extreme Rules. They had a very electric, fast-paced match, and I think that continued on with the opening match here on Extreme Rules. And here's the thing. The opening match has to be the exciting one, and if I'm already feeling excited for the pre-show match, my expectations are only going to go that much higher for New Day, Shinsuke, and Cesaro for this tables match. So once again, it started out really fast. It had a lot of really good moments. We saw some really great spots, some of which included a Big E spear to Cesaro, which looked really badass. And as you guys know, when Big E does something, like he does it like full throttle, full intensity. There was another really cool spot where Big E threw Kofi, but instead of him going through the table, he sort of like smashes his face like right into the table, which was another really cool spot. His head literally smacked like if it was a wall. But obviously the best part of this match was the finish. That finish was so awesome. I gotta say, I fangirled for this, okay? So the finish was Kofi was powerbombed onto not one, but two tables by Cesaro. And the camera work was phenomenal because they had the camera at a lower angle. So when he went through the tables, like you saw it hit first table, you saw it hit the second table, and it looks sick. And at the same time, you saw Shinsuke Nakamura from the back was like jumping from like the steel steps to the ground, but all of that happened at the same time. So I thought visually it looked pretty awesome. And I thought that that based on those two matches already, I thought, okay, Extreme Rules is looking pretty good. But what did you guys think of this match? Go ahead and let me know. I'm going to pull up your comments and see what you guys say. Sharif Mills says, Kofi got owned. Dude, Kofi was a highlight in this match. And that was one of the things that I said while we were doing the watch along on Wrestle Talk. I was like, dude, you know Kofi Kingston is going to have a sick spot throughout this match because Kofi always does. He's like Shane McMahon. They're just people that you expect a certain spot from them. Ryan Smith says, sup, Denise? This match was pretty good, to be honest. Agree on the finish. It ruled. Yes, definitely. It was one of the highlights of this for sure. Finbar White says, I really hope Cesaro and Shinsuke have a good run. I do too, because their personalities sort of complement each other really well. Like even the way Shinsuke Nakamura was like celebrating this win, like he was just kind of like, he was really, really selling it. Like it was really cool. Stephen Butler says, double table spots are always awesome when done right. Tonight's finish was just great. Pete, what's up, Pete? Pete says, brilliant finish. So glad to see new tag champs. I know. I honestly did not see it coming. I think my brain was just like fixed on... We've seen the New Day retain so many times, so I think part of me just automatically went to that. Joseph says, SmackDown side of things ruled today. Raw stunk. Fez the Weapon says, D-Trade, I wasn't even aware she didn't want to be a wrestler. Oh, wait, this is something different. Okay. She knew what she was talking. Oh, you're talking about me in this one. Okay, I thought this was about the match, but thank you for the nice comment. All right. I'm trying to see what else we have here in terms of the match. Joseph Boza also said it ruled. I couldn't believe there was a fan vote. Told me they were doing anything to get a tag team title match here, and Street Profits are off the road due to Angelo Dawkins being a dad. And then, all right, so there we go, guys. Ashia Dahal says, happy to have missed the show. The show starts at 4:45 a.m. here in Nepal. Woke up at 8 a.m. Yeah, I can't complain about the time zones. They work in my favor. John Shaw says, Biggie seems so pissed after the match. They were shocked, man, but that was great. Amaya, main day. Sorry, by the way, guys, I'm so sorry if I mess up your names. Please correct me afterwards if I mess up your name on here. Amaya says, Cesaro and Nakamura deserve a good title run now, long time after the bar tag wins. Yes, I 100% agree with that. And like I said, their personalities, their chemistry work really well to where I can see them doing some really great stuff. So there we go, guys. That was the overall thoughts on New Day versus Cesaro and Shinsuke, new tag team champions. A big shocker for the night and a great way to get started. After that, we had Bayley versus Nikki Cross for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So I had said earlier on, prior to this match, that I obviously knew that Bayley was going to win. I didn't really feel that Nikki was actually going to win. So we knew going into this match that maybe 99% of chance Bayley was going to win. And my prediction was also that that Sasha was going to help her out in some way. But I do want to take a second to put over Nikki Cross here, because Nikki Cross seriously did not come to play at all. This was one of the best matches where she's actually been featured in recent times and like a big part of a big storyline. So for her to have a match against Bayley, I think did phenomenal for her. So first of all, I just want to say that Nikki Cross did a killer job tonight, because at some point, even though I knew that Bayley was going to win and there was no chance that Nikki was going to win, part of me kind of started rooting for Nikki. I don't know if any of you guys felt this way, but at some point I kind of wanted to see Nikki win. And I know that seems sort of outrageous, but I just, she convinced me. I fell for it. I wanted the underdog to win here. So I really liked it. And I thought that the aggression that Nikki brought really made her seem like a credible opponent to Bayley. For the match itself, we had a lot of near falls. I felt that Nikki really brought it, and I mentioned this already, but I just thought that it was really cool that they did a very different match from what we saw later on with Sasha and Asuka. So they held their own here. In the end, we saw Sasha gave Bayley the boss knuckles. I don't know, brass knuckles, if you want to call it that, the boss knuckles. She gave that to Bayley. Bayley ended up getting the win. So it went just as predicted, but overall, it was a decent match. I wouldn't say it was like the greatest match of the night, but it was a good match. But let's go ahead. What did you guys think about Bayley versus Nikki Cross? And at some point, did you guys sort of want to see Nikki Cross win? What were your thoughts? We have another super chat. Oh my God, this is the most super chats I've ever gotten, guys. Mega Geek Mixer says, great job on Wrestle Talk. Match was great. Most ending were good. Others, Asuka versus Sasha. Oh, we'll talk about that. Thank you so much for the super chat. And thank you so much for coming on here and supporting the channel. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Pete says, love Nikki, but glad she lost. Curious to see where her character goes from here. I know some people thought that maybe Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross would break up. I don't think that right now. It doesn't really feel like the moment that that's going to happen, but I know that maybe eventually down the line it will. But I just don't feel that the timing is for it right now. But in terms of what's going to happen with Nikki, I don't know. I feel that after this match, she should be some sort of focus on the show because she just had a match with Bayley on a pay-per-view. So that should land her a good spot instead of just floating around on the roster. But we'll see. Let's see. Vinny DiCaprio says, hey, Denise, I know it's been a while. It was my birthday last Sunday and have been very busy, but glad to be here. About the new matches from you. Thank you so much, Vinny, for coming on here and supporting, and happy late birthday. And thank you so much for coming on here. Miguel says, I wanted Nikki to win, but the character of Bayley is really entertaining and still wanted Bayley to win. Yeah, I obviously knew Bayley was going to win, so that was not like a shocker or anything like that. But it's funny because I like that you mentioned that you like Nikki's character, but that Bayley's very entertaining. I think that Bayley and Sasha obviously are very entertaining, but so are Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Like, there's what they did last week on SmackDown. It was so funny. Their back and forth banter, like I could not stop laughing. And they bring different type of entertainment, obviously different characters from Nikki. From Bayley and Sasha. So because of that, I'm a big fan of them, and that's why I don't want them to break up. Fur Peace says, what happens now? Who challenges Bayley? So as we all know, or we predict, is that they're working towards Bayley versus Sasha. And so we're going to see if it happens at SummerSlam or not. I know some people have said, what if they carry this on until WrestleMania? I don't know, because at the same time, they work very well as a team. Aaron says, with Sasha and Asuka potentially feuding for next pay-per-view, who would face Bayley for a filler feud until Sasha potentially turns on Bayley? That's exactly what we were just talking about. Guys, send in your predictions. Who do you think will be a filler person in the meantime before we actually see Bayley and Sasha? Go ahead and send your predictions in, or who you would like to see. DTMR says, okay, so in my WWE 2K20 Universal mode, Mike Kanellis beat Roman for the WWE titles. Oh, that's super random. Bored Dude 630 says, I love Nikki, but Bayley is just too class right now. She's a role model. Wow said. Joseph also notes that Bayley is a great character. And Sharif says he would like to see Sonya, but Sonya is from his hometown. Mega Geek says, I like to think we are getting a mix of NXT Nikki with her current character. Yeah, and Nikki Cross, man, she had so much hype in NXT, so I definitely see that. D-Train says, I feel for Xia Li. She is underrated, sad she gets more airtime as a fan in the crowd than in wrestling. Sometimes it's just timing, right? Just timing. Joseph says there were rumblings of Sasha turning on Bayley, but the pandemic happened. I mean, SummerSlam was going to be Sasha's backyard, in Sasha's backyard. And then Joseph says that he can see Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, and Bayley in a triple threat at SummerSlam. Dude, Sonya Deville, I mean, we haven't seen her in a couple weeks, but for the most part, like, dude, no one has anything bad to say about Sonya Deville. Like, she has been killing it. I don't need to tell you guys about her awesome mic work that she's been doing as of late, because everybody is talking about it or has been talking about it. So there you go. That was Bayley versus Nikki Cross. Bayley retained. Let's go ahead and move on to this next one, guys. Oh, God. Apollo Crews versus MVP for the US Championship. So apparently they had announced prior that Apollo Crews was not cleared yet. So I didn't see that prior to actually watching the match. So I completely missed that. So this forfeit came out of nowhere for me, like out of nowhere. I'm not a fan of it, guys. I'm just not a fan of it. My prediction was that we were going to be seeing Apollo Crews win. There was quite a bit of hype when Apollo Crews won the title, and people were excited for him because he really hadn't gotten an opportunity like that. And now it just feels weird seeing MVP as US champion. Like, guys, it's not for me. It's not working. I think that he is a great mouthpiece for Bobby Lashley, and I feel like that's what it should be. But I know we're getting a blend of both wrestler and manager, but I almost feel like if you're going to do the manager thing, like, all right, let's do it. Guys, I'm not a fan of it. What did you guys think? I know given circumstances, maybe that's why things are different, and that's why we're seeing MVP as champion, but I'm not crazy about it. Let's see what you guys are saying. Javier says, what the hell happened here? That's actually my reaction for a few other matches for tonight, but we'll go ahead and plug that in right now. Let's see. Sharif says, yes, MVP won, but was kind of dumb. DTMR says, I wanted MVP to win, but like this? ? You really wanted MVP to win? Oh, man. Randall says, new US champ MVP earned it with a long, hard-fought match, and no one can take that victory away from him. Joseph says, I have theories. 1, is Apollo injured? 2, did he get COVID? 3, the cut due to time. 4, was this never going to happen? We all have theories, right? Oh God, I think the most common theory is the COVID, but we can't really say that because we don't really know. And to say that, it's kind of like unfair, but it's a very probable theory. So that's what it is. Furpy says, I thought MVP was going to hand the belt to Bobby. I thought Bobby was going to attack him at some point. When they were walking back, I thought maybe Bobby Lashley just goes rampage on him and gets the belt because he's technically his client. He's technically the focal point. So why shouldn't he be the one with the championship belt, right? I don't know. Sharif says, yeah, Apollo is no. That is a no. Stow's got a way to go. And then Devin Mercer says maybe MVP will lose it tomorrow. And Miguel says this was actually really confusing and a weird spot for them to be. And Bobby should be the U.S. champion and not the spokesperson. Thank you, Miguel. Yes, we are on the same page here. Let's see. We have some more comments. Let's see what D-Train's saying. Extreme Rules, what the hell happened here? Better name for the show. Oh, man. Guys, I can't even. There's some heavy moments on here. So I guess we'll find out more on Raw, or maybe not. In terms of this, we might just have MVP come out and say, I don't know what. All right, but that was the US Championship. I didn't expect this to happen at all. But guys, it's time. It's time to freak out because we are about to talk about the match that we were talking from the start because of the crazy stipulation. And it was Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio in an eye for an eye match. I repeat, an eye for an eye match. Holy cow, guys. Oh my God. First of all, before we get into that, we just got another super chat. Blake, thank you so much. Blake says, I think the logo came early, so Brace jump scare would be more surprising. Yeah, I can't see WWE making mistakes like that. So it almost makes me feel that had to be intentional. And another I forgot what they were called. Super chat. Thank you so much to Mont Blanc 034 who says, fantastic job with the live reactions with the Wrestle Talk lads. The whole event was nuts, haha, and lived up to the tagline. Yeah, You know what? I can't argue with that there. Guys, let's talk about the eye for an eye match. I know you have a lot of thoughts, so please throw them into this chat room because things are about to get bananas. Here we go. I'm just going to start running it down, guys. So Seth came out with pliers. And literally before I saw that, I thought to myself, are they going to bring out weapons to try to get the eye out, or are they going to try to do it with hands? Like, there were so many question marks, right? So he came out with the pliers. Ray attacked him from behind to start the match, which I thought was brilliant because, hey, someone is out to get your eyeball. You really want to start off face to face? That doesn't make sense. So I really like that he started the attack from behind because it made a lot of sense to do it like that. So we saw a lot of different things being incorporated into this match. We saw tools being used from a toolbox. We saw a chair getting so close to Ray's eyes. We saw the use of kendo sticks, the steel steps. Seth tried tying Rey Mysterio, which kind of turned out to be a little bit of a disaster and didn't really work out. But we saw a lot of attempts at trying to take the eyeball out. And every single time there was an attempt to take the eyeball out, I couldn't help but to cringe and like try to close my eyes, because at the end of the day, seeing any object come close to an eyeball would creep anybody out, okay? Like, regardless of what it is, regardless if this eye for an eye match seemed like a joke, whatever. At the end of the day, something is coming close to someone's eye, and that is creepy and cringy and hard to watch. This was an exciting match. This was literally, aside from the eye for an eye stipulation, this was a good match, guys. I was very much entertained with all of the in-ring work. And I said this from the start in the predictions video in Wrestle Talk. I said that had this match not had this stipulation, this would have been a hell of a match, because Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio, they can work, man. And together they complement each other very well, because they can both work at a certain speed that not a lot of guys can work at, but Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio can definitely do it. Honestly, guys, I'm just gonna say this match from a start should have been a hair versus mask match. That's what it should have been. It should not have been eye for an eye. And I get it, the horror show, I get it. But I would have really, really liked for it to be a hair versus mask match. I thought that would have been really cool. It would have been different and it would have been exciting. I think people would have been really excited for it. So in the end, we saw, I'm going to pull up the picture, guys. So here we go. You are about to see, here we go. In the end, we saw Seth Rollins go ahead and basically do what he's been doing the past several weeks by putting Rey Mysterio's eyeball into the steel steps. And then it kind of happened a little slowly. You weren't really sure if this was the moment that the eyeball was going to come out. And then lo and behold, they flashed this on the screen really quickly. We just see an eyeball there. At first, I didn't even realize it was an eyeball. I actually thought it was a gauze, because they had panned the camera to Seth Rollins. So I thought maybe the referee gave him a gauze. It wasn't until afterwards, when I saw this picture floating around on social media, that I realized that it was the actual eyeball. So Ray's there screaming in pain, covering his eye. You get a glimpse of the eyeball, and then Seth Rollins literally throws up, guys. And this was hilarious because I didn't see this coming whatsoever. I wasn't expecting Seth Rollins to have a puking moment. And I don't know about you guys, but when I see somebody throw up, even if I'm not disgusted by what made that person throw up, I am still mortified. You know, I'm still just like, ew, I just saw somebody throw up and it makes me want to throw up. And so I'm sure a lot of people have probably felt this way. Okay, so we saw Seth Rollins throw up. We saw Rey Mysterio covering his eye. I have to say that the match was good, but secondly, I was expecting to see more blood and more focus on the eye. I wasn't expecting for that to be just a little glimpse of the eyeball. I was expecting for him to like have the eyeball like in his hands and for us to see like the string coming out of the socket. And I think my vision was a little bit more gory, but that's just what I expected. So what did you guys think of the eye for an eye match. Did it live up to the expectations? Did it exceed your expectations? Let's see what you guys are doing. Oh, by the way, I almost missed this super chat. I'm so sorry. Michael, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, Ray doing what he does at this age is superhuman. Bro, he got thrown off a roof. He got his eyeball taken out. Are you kidding me? He's definitely doing superhuman stuff. That's for sure. Rendell Hall says, Seth puking was priceless. Truly appreciate realism in wrestling. Great reaction from Seth. Yeah, you know what? That was unexpected because maybe you would think, oh, he's going to be all happy because he just took someone's eye out. No, be realistic. If you took someone's eye out, chances are you're going to be sick to your stomach, right? So I do think that was a nice touch to it all. DTMR says, I was hoping Dominic would come out and tell Seth to stop. And if he does, he would join the Messiah, but then Dominic low blows Seth. So I was surprised that we didn't see Dominic in this, but I actually thought that we would be seeing Dominic turn on Ray. I was expecting for him to join up with Seth Rollins. So I was actually pretty surprised by that. I was actually pretty surprised at that. Let's see. D-Train says, nice physical match. Ray had attitude, which we never get to see from Ray. Never heard him call anyone an SOB. Match of the night, but the ending, he's gonna puke. Chris Dazuba says, the stipulation ruins a great match. Yes, 100%, Chris. Like, this match would have been amazing without the stipulation. And let's see here. CB says the overarching theme of this pay-per-view was great matches, bad endings, or interesting endings, maybe. And then there was, I had an interesting comment that I wanted to read. Where did it go? Okay, Joseph says that he appreciated the realism. And Mont Blanc says, man, when Seth started puking, they almost got me too. I would love to know if somebody really puked like while watching this, because at the end of the day, seeing someone barf, man, it's gross. It's really gross. Joseph also says, imagining being Seth and seeing that live. Sharif says, yes, I was eating when his eye popped out, lost my appetite. Why would you be eating during this match? Wouldn't have you expected it to be gory and disgusting? Sharif, I can't, you know what? I can't defend you on this one. Just the stipulation alone, I would not have been eating during this match. PowerPoint says, we have CGI and Tom Savani at our disposal. Let's use a toy. WWE. Aaron Kame says, he was expecting Murphy to come out and Dominic as well. Maybe an AOP return to help Seth win, since they have been off TV, taking out Aleister Black since he has been helping on Raw. So I think you expected, some more interference maybe. DTMR also says, I was saying during the match, hair versus mask would have been better. Vinny says, an awesome match with two legends. Definitely legends. Andy Q says, so did you think it was going to be a legit eye removal, Denise? I was ready to cry, man. 10-year-old me would have been crying on the floor knowing or thinking that Rey Mysterio lost his eye. Mesmer Heart says, one word, ew. Yes, I definitely think so as well. Miguel says, this was a really good, and you can feel the hatred between the two. I really wanted to see how the finish would be. If there was vomit, there should have been blood. Yes, I think there should have been like blood coming out, like while Rey Mysterio had his hands down. I think there should have been like blood coming down at least, so that it could give it more of like, dude, his eyeball just came out, and just kind of give you that ew feeling, because everybody was going in knowing that they were going to be having that ew feeling. Randall says, with Seth's new character, would love to see him team with Orton and just run all over everyone else. Yes and no. Only because they're both doing really good, but they're both doing really good separately. And I'm not always a fan of pairing everybody up. I like people to just kind of be their own person and do their own thing. Sharif also says that he thinks that this should have been a I Quit match. Chris Dazuba says, should have ate peeled grapes during this match. Kevin says, what a disappoint about the Raw. Oh, he didn't like the ending for the Raw women's title match. Yes, we will go ahead and talk about that in a second. DTMR says, booyaka, booyaka, lost my eye though. Booyaka, booyaka, where my sight go. Man, yep, we should have seen a blood pack for sure. All right, guys, make sure to send me your thoughts. Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio. I know you guys have them for sure. And before, you know what, just for fun, let's look at the eyeball one more time. There you go, Rey Mysterio holding his eyeball, guys. Oh, man, that really happened. Let's move on, guys. Let's talk about Asuka versus Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship. So this match was arguably, you can say, maybe one of the best matches of the night. I know that it had the most hype going into it. I know a lot of people, when they were asked, what match are you most looking forward to? The match that they were most looking forward to was Asuka versus Sasha Banks. Two women that we know are incredible in the ring and always, really go out there and just do amazing and knock it out of the park. But the match, okay, so let's first talk about what happened during this match. So obviously, Asuka won. This match had a lot of hype going into it. It was very, very different from the Nikki Cross Bailey match, which I appreciated. We saw a lot of slaps from Asuka at the start to Sasha. We saw some mat work between both women, which was pretty cool. The highlights for me of this match where we saw some great running knees, lots of kicks, lots of strikes, slaps, and chops, which I thought just brought a nice aggression to it. I thought that both women just jumped into this match and made it memorable from start to finish. Asuka put on some killer suplexes on Sasha Banks. She took those suplexes like, holy damn, I was amazed when Sasha took those. I thought those were really good. We saw a lot of near falls towards the end, some nice chain wrestling that I thought was very exciting. And it made you think that at some point, maybe Sasha would get the victory just because, oh wait, sorry guys. I made a mistake here, by the way. I said that Asuka won, but I wanted to get to my actual ending. So excuse that, what I just said. Okay. When they had the near falls, at that point, I thought maybe Sasha might win at this point. Maybe she'll pull it off and she'll get the victory. But I wasn't expecting the victory that she ended up getting. So the finish left a lot of confusion, okay? In the end, we saw the referee get the mist in the face by Asuka. That caused him to get distracted, and during that, Bailey went and took off the referee's t-shirt and put it upon herself, and that is how she ended up counting the 1, 2, 3, and Sasha ended up winning the bout here. Now, the bell did ring, but there was never an announcement that Sasha won. So does it count? Is Sasha Banks your new Raw Women's Champion? I mean, as of right now, I'm going to say yes, but I don't actually think that that is how it's going to stay. Thank you, by the way. A lot of people were commenting me, Sasha won. Yeah, I know. I don't know why in my notes I put Asuka, even though I was talking about the finish. Duh. All right. So Jason Wilson says Sasha didn't win. Hey, she got the 3 count. She got 3 count from a person in an official shirt, but will it count? I don't know. I do think, though, that this was an interesting way to get people to tune into Raw and find out whether or not Sasha Banks would be stripped from the title or not. What's going to happen? Was this fair to Asuka? Because here's my thing. I think that Asuka she won the Money in the Bank. Okay, great. But then afterwards, she gets handed the title by Becky Lynch. And so when she got the title handed to her, a lot of people can see that as, oh, she never really earned it for herself, even though she did win the Money in the Bank. So she needed a match. She needs several matches to sort of solidify her reign as Raw Women's Champion. And I don't think we're getting that. This was a hell of a match, but that ending sort of robbed Asuka of having a successful victory against somebody like Sasha Banks. My original theory was that Bailey was going to end up costing Sasha Banks the match, but that didn't happen either. And that would have been a better way to protect Sasha Banks and not necessarily have Asuka lose her bout. And I'm putting this in air quotations, okay? So there you go. What did you guys think of this match? The match itself and the finish, because my overall opinions, match was great. The actual finish, confusing, but interesting. So let's go ahead and see what you guys are saying here. Alejandra says, wait, who won? So Sasha won, but this is in air quotations because Bailey was dressed as the referee and she's the one who counted the 3 counts. So make what you will of it. We'll find out tomorrow who really is champion here. CB says, bet they'll have a rematch tomorrow night on Raw. Probably, yes. I'm going to say that that's more likely to happen. And Nick White, what's up, Nick? He says, love this match. They had a lot of great chemistry and bumps. However, I hated the ending. The stall from the ref when he got the green mist made me cringe. You know what? I didn't even notice that. So thank you so much for pointing it out. This were Nick White's thoughts. Daniel Ellis says, had so much hope for this match. And to be honest, it was one of the matches of the night. I just wasn't sure about that finish. So I think we can all agree that we weren't happy about that. Finbar White says, Asuka is such a good, talented wrestler. Yes, and that is why she deserves a fair reign. Something where people say, yeah, she is the champion and she earned it. Joseph Boza says, technically, Wiki says it ended in a false finish. To me, this was a piss-poor attempt to get ratings for Raw. Raw hasn't been well in ratings since the pandemic started. Yeah, that's unfortunate, guys. Honestly, as you guys know, I cover Raw each and every single week with Sean Ross Sapp on Fightful. And to be honest, there have been a lot of really good moments. Like, Raw hasn't necessarily been complete trash. It really has not. And I know a lot of people have been saying that, but last week's Raw I thought was pretty good. So I think people should probably check it out. But we need Raw to feel more I think we need Raw to feel more like something can happen, like anything can happen on Raw. And that's why I, as a viewer, should be tuning in. And I think right now we're not getting that from Raw. So that's why people necessarily aren't tuning in. And then also maybe a lot of people can't watch with no audience. People have different opinions on that. Fur P says, great match, but that ending left me with more questions than answer. Both great talent. Rematch Monday, ? And then Finbar says that there might be a rematch for SummerSlam. Stephen Butler says, my prediction, decision will be overturned tomorrow on Raw, with Asuka being disqualified for spitting mist into the ref's face. Probably. I think that's what we're seeing. I think that tomorrow night we will see it be overturned. Frederick says, Sasha selling wins me over every time. I agree. She's great at it. She's really, really great. Oh, by the way, Sam, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much. He says, do you want WWE to bring back GM for Raw tomorrow? I was thinking about that. Like, we would need somebody to, to make rules and to like say something about what happened. I don't know. I feel like GMs are good at some moments, but then sometimes whenever we have a GM, I almost feel like they take over too much of the show. So I kind of find it a little bit distracting. So that's my personal opinion on that. Daniel Ellis says, SRS sent me here to keep an eye on Grandma. Hey, my grandma's looking like she's liking the fame, guys. Like, she's came out like 5 times during this stream. I'm thinking she wants to be seen. So yeah, but I think my grandpa will take SRS, man. He'll take them, all right? I'm gonna make sure not to make that introduction. Let's see. Javier Gonzalez says, for me, Sasha won. Asuka should have been disqualified for spitting on a referee. But it was an accident, though. Sasha Banks moved. It wasn't like Asuka was intentionally trying to get the referee. So, I don't know. CB says, it should be a DQ on Asuka. Asuka keeps the belt. Rematch on Monday. Asuka retains Monday night due to Bailey interference. Building the Sasha versus Bailey for SummerSlam. Tavon Jameson says, the Sasha Banks and Bailey versus Trish Stratus and Lita match at SummerSlam is going to be hyped for real. And Michael says, this was going to be my match of the night, but I hated the finish. Man, Yeah, that was I'm definitely seeing a lot of people complain about the finish, and I can't disagree. Miguel says, so many confusing and weird moments of the show. I feel like there was so much of Bailey and Sasha. The finish should have had a different finish. And Mesmer says, I need to buy me a referee t-shirt. Alrighty, guys. So, oh, and Andy Q says, I wouldn't mind a William Regal type GM who only appears when needed. Yeah, that would be ideal, right? But I don't think it always happens. Joseph says SRS at the same time was throwing shade at Denise for doing that watch along with Wrestle Talk TV. He called them those boys. What? I totally missed that. So there you go, guys. That was Asuka versus Sasha Banks. We will find out on Raw whether or not Sasha Banks will be keeping the Raw Women's Championship or not. So overall, good match, bad finish. But let's go ahead and move on now. So next up, we have Drew McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler for the WWE Championship. So I'm just going to go ahead and say it, guys. I really had no interest in this match from the beginning. I personally just didn't really see Dolph Ziggler as a credible opponent for Drew McIntyre. And overall, I thought that this match was okay. It exceeded my expectations, but that was because my expectations were super low. I thought this match would have been a lot better as a Raw main event instead of a pay-per-view match. So basically, the special stipulation was that the Extreme Rules would only be applied to Dolph Ziggler and not to Drew McIntyre. And if he broke that, he would essentially be losing the belt. So I think overall, the stipulation sort of felt a little complicated in the beginning, but I think it ended up working well with the story. But I will say this, I was expecting more from the stipulation. I kind of felt a little bit let down. I know my original theory was a ladder match. So maybe because of all of the crazy other things that we saw happening on the show, this stipulation sort of fell short, I guess you can say, of expectations. My favorite spot of the night was when Drew almost put Dolph Ziggler through the table, and he has him up, but then it's kind of like a weird angle too. Like he almost has him through the table, but then he ends up changing his mind or like realizing that he can't do that, and then like turns around and instead just does not put him through the table. So I thought that was my favorite part because it made a lot of sense in terms of the stipulation, and it just added to it. But I did feel that Dolph Ziggler should have utilized the fact that he had Extreme Rules on his side and Drew did not. I thought he should have utilized that more during this match so that it could sort of seem more unfair. But I didn't really think that he did that as much as I maybe would have thought he would have. And I will say this, I love the finish because I didn't see the Claymore kick coming. It sort of came out of nowhere. So I thought it was pretty cool. But what did you guys think of this match? Go ahead and share your thoughts with me and we'll go ahead and pull them up here. So CB says that he thought it was a great stipulation, needed something to really swing in Dolph Ziggler's favor. Yes, 100%. And made Drew feel like an underdog. Love that table spot as well. Yes, you know what, CB, you said it better than I did, honestly. That was one of the things that obviously, like I said, because so many people like myself didn't have as much interest going into this match, you needed that stipulation to really grab you and make you at least care. So this added to it. Finn Barr says Dolph shouting was funny. Yeah, and with the crazy hair, yeah, really added. Cody says, yeah, ruthless aggression era is totally dead. DTMR says, in Drew's next title defense, I think Walter should come out, clothesline Drew, and this starts a Drew versus Walter match, and that would be Walter's revenge for Drew eliminating him at Survivor Series. Interesting. Joseph says, rumor is Randy wanted to work with somebody like Adam Cole or Tommaso Ciampa, but was turned down likely because there aren't many heels for Drew to feud with, likely Randy and Drew at SummerSlam. I would love to see Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre. And I said this on the reaction show on Wrestle Talk, but I will go ahead and repeat it here today, is that Drew McIntyre needs, just like Asuka, he needs a feud to really, really make his reign feel more important, to make it feel like a big deal, to really solidify it. And we haven't had that. Since becoming champion. He had the whole thing with Seth Rollins. Okay, but Seth Rollins was transitioning into the Messiah character, so it really wasn't good timing for that to work out. And then we have him now with Dolph Ziggler. So it just kind of didn't really do anything for him. And I think he needs somebody that is going to make his title reign feel more important. So I think somebody like Randy Orton would be that guy, but I do not want to see Randy Orton win or become champion, because we need somebody like Drew McIntyre, somebody that's fresh and new that we haven't really seen really execute and get to his full potential as champion. So because of that, I would like to see the match to build up Drew McIntyre, but I would like to see Drew McIntyre retain. Mitch McDonald says, I thought the stipulation made things more interesting, but WWE needs to build credible challengers. Dolph and Nikki have 3 combined wins in 2020. Yeah, I agree. All right, where are we at? The Backwoods Gamer says, I'm glad Drew didn't drop the title to Dolph. Would have been as bad as when The Fiend lost to Goldberg. Oh, man. I'm a Goldberg fan, guys, so I can't talk too much. I can't say too much bad stuff about that. All right, where are we at? Blake says, would have been better if they announced the stipulation earlier. I went in having no doubt Drew would win, only thought Dolph was a possibility the moment before the match. Interesting. Randall Hall says, great stipulation, but made Drew look stupid for letting Dolph pick and made Dolph look stupid for not taking advantage of it. Yeah, like I said, he had to utilize more of the Extreme Rules. Amaya says, Ziggler is an underrated wrestler, deserves much love and attention from creative. DTMR says, the Fiend's weakness is facing someone he has never faced or doesn't know their weakness. D-Train says, Claymore kick out of nowhere versus RKO out of nowhere at SummerSlam. There you go. You got the billing. Michael Hernandez says, I think Bobby Lashley is the indicated one for that big feud for Drew. Hey, they've been building Bobby Lashley up, so I wouldn't necessarily hate it. So there are some options there, and that's good because we need options. Joseph says, I can see Drew having a long reign. I think he will be a champ at least through Survivor Series or whenever they go to arenas with crowd limit capacity. Finbar says, Drew needs fans there to complete title reign. Shame he hasn't had that moment. He really hasn't had that moment, guys. It really sucks, honestly, that this whole situation happened, but that's another topic for another time. Andy Q says, could see Orton winning the belt between Survivor Series and Rumble, with Edge winning the Rumble and beating Orton for it at WrestleMania 37. Cody, Goldberg is a legend and he is better than anything WWE got going right at the moment. Oh, man, everyone on Fightful would hate you, Cody. I'm the only Goldberg stan there. But I got you, man. I got you. Chris says, different as Drew wins his matches convincingly. Asuka, they have eke out a win having to fight back. She needs better booking. Yes, Chris, you actually have a point there. There is a difference in that sense. And DTMR says, I'm just imagining one of those NXT superstars becoming a big star one day. Oh, yeah. Oh, we got another super chat. I'm so happy. Anakin JMT says, it's okay. You're a Goldberg fan. You also hate oranges, so it's okay. You have weird options. See you tomorrow. Thank you so much for supporting the Raw Fightful podcast and then coming on here and supporting this podcast as well. It really means a lot. So thank you so much to Anakin JMT. Oh, Andy says Goldberg is worse than trash. Bro. If I had a picture of Matt Riddle queued up, well, actually, maybe Matt Riddle wouldn't be the best option. Never mind. But bro. All right. So there we go, guys. Miguel Mickey says this match was kind of boring. It could have been way better. Miguel, like I said, you had to have low expectations. If you had low expectations, it exceeded those expectations. If you had high expectations, then it wasn't good. So it really just depends on how you went in looking at this match. But guys, there you have it. That's Drew McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler. Drew McIntyre retained. Now we move on. Wow, a lot happened on this show, but now we move on to Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman in a swamp fight. All right, there's a lot to say about this one here. So let's just kind of kick it off here. So the first thing that we see is, so first of all, this was kind of a mixture of between like the Boneyard match and the Firefly Funhouse match. I think it was a little bit of both. It was more of a mini movie than an actual match, though. So that was where the big difference was. First of all, it started off with Bray rocking on a chair. Braun came in on this truck. Bray disappears from the chair. Then we start seeing Braun go through some flashbacks. Braun sees his former self when he was part of the Wyatt family. Then Braun is chained to a chair. Bray cuts a really, really long promo that I personally thought was good, but it dragged for a really long time. I felt like he was talking forever. So I wasn't necessarily a fan of that. After that, we see Braun get bitten by a snake. By the way, these are just the highlights. Then we see a guy get set on fire by Braun Strowman, which I have a few question marks on that one. If you guys want to explain that one to me, you are more than welcome to, because it just kind of went over my head. Then we also had a moment where we saw Alexa Bliss sort of come out as Sister Abigail here. This one was pretty interesting, and I didn't see it coming. So that was I would say, an interesting moment during the swamp fight. If you guys want to tell me what you guys thought about this specific moment and any moment of the swamp fight, go ahead and share that as well. After that, we saw them both fighting inside the water of the swamp, the lake, whatever you want to call it, swamp. We saw them fighting in there, and then Braun Strowman ends up putting Bray Wyatt on a boat. The boat goes away. The boat comes back. They fight in the water, and then at some point, the copyright logo appears, and it seems like it's the ending, but then it turns out that it's not the ending. The show continues, and then afterwards, we see them sort of both disappear into the water, and then we see like water bubbling, like kind of looking like lava. Not really like lava, but the water was bubbling and it was red. So there's that. And then after that, we see the Fiend appear from that red bubbly water, and it's the end of the show. Now, I did a really bad job of explaining the swamp fight to you guys, but I don't know how else to explain this match. It was kind of bizarre, to be honest. So that was kind of a really poor description of the swamp fight. But go ahead and let me know, what did you guys think of this? Because I was not a fan of it at all. I was a little bit bored. I did like that they added a lot of really cool stuff in terms of the scenery. I liked the scenery. I thought that was cool. I thought the special effects were pretty interesting. I thought the Alexa Bliss incorporation was interesting, but other than that, it kind of fell short for me, and I don't want to see another cinematic match for a while. I like them, but I think I need a little bit of a break, just because that one did not do it for me, guys. That one left me with more confusion than anything else. But what did you guys think? So I'm going to go ahead and start pulling up your guys' comments on this match. Joseph Boza says, I can't believe Bray won this. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming he won just because we saw the Fiend come out. So I guess that means he won? Question mark? Braun versus Braun, match of the year, says DTMR. And then Sean says, Sister Abigail is the manifestation of the targets of desire. Interesting. Cody Hunter says, I want the Fiend. The Backwards Gamer says, this was the best match of the night, stole the show, so much storytelling, and built up hopefully SummerSlam where the Fiend will win the title back. Wow. Okay, so we have totally different opinions, which is totally cool. And I like the fact that you thought that this was that the storytelling was good and it built up the match. Obviously, hopefully at SummerSlam. I personally was not a fan of it, but that doesn't mean that just because I wasn't a fan of it, other people can be a fan of it. So awesome. Dujon says, Dark Lexi. Let's go further into that story. I like that. Dijuan, I like that. I agree with you. I would like to go in further with that Alexa Bliss thing for sure. D-Train says, this main event wasn't even a fight, really more talking than fighting. Yes, I agree with that as well. Finbar White, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, I am enjoying your live chat. Shame Bray Wyatt Match ending was bad, needed to be more definitive. Yes, well said, more definitive. I think a lot of us had some question marks at the end of that. Let's see, what else did you guys think here? Aaron says, I was so confused with the credits coming up with Bray got thrown into the lake. Me too. I thought it was just gonna end like that. Like, there are so many TV shows that I watch where they like just end and you're like, what? That's it? That's really where they're ending? So I thought that that's what they were gonna mimic. I thought they were gonna mimic those TV shows that leave you on a cliffhanger. So this one isn't necessarily a cliffhanger, but it was a little bit confusing. Cody Hunter says AJ Lee should have been Sister Abigail. She would have made a better one than Alexa. I read Alexis. Alexa Bliss. Michael Hernandez says, I hate cinematic matches. There, I said it. Ooh, bold statement, Michael. I don't hate them. I really don't hate them. I just like them when they're done a specific way. And this one just didn't do it for me. It really just did not do it for me. Miguel says, with the great feedback of the style of the Boneyard match, WWE is overusing the cinematic style. Braun should go back as a heel monster. And it's very easy to, when something is good, to overuse it. But so yeah, I can see that. But the Boneyard match was great. The Money in the Bank match was great. There was some great moments, but this one wasn't one of them. Santos says, I like the main event. I'm sure there's going to be a good closure at SummerSlam. All right, so it was a hit and a miss for some people. So that's perfectly okay. So there you guys go. That was Extreme Rules, the horror show. So we had a lot of big things happen. The next thing we have to wonder is what on earth is going to happen with Rey Mysterio. When are we going to see them? Because obviously he's going to have to be gone for a while, guys. Like, we should not be seeing Rey Mysterio until some time from now. So who really knows what's going to happen there? We also need to find out what's going to happen with Sasha Banks. Is she going to be the champion or not? There's so much stuff going on that we need to talk about, and hopefully we get some answers on Raw. But before we go, I do want to get some final thoughts. So if you guys want any final comments being read, please send them in before I end this stream. So I'm going to go ahead and read your guys' comments for the finale. So if you guys want to get a comment in before I log off, this is now your time. Chris DeZuba, thank you so much for the super chat. Chris says, only thing that could have made this pay-per-view worse would have been Taylor Swift opening it with a song. Bro, how could you on my own show talk about my queen like that? It's okay. Thank you so much, Chris, for the awesome super chat. Let's see. All right, Finbar Wise says, I'd given the pay-per-view 3 out of 5. And Amia says, I'm really looking forward to how the Alexa Bliss character would act now. Will it be Mr. Rogers and Fiend, or what? Okay, I'm a little bit confused on that one, but maybe you can explain to me afterwards. Okay. Mitch McDonald says, I like cinematic matches, but not brace, multiple bronze, POV camera angles, and Alexa Bliss is just too much for me. The Boneyard match, Money in the Bank, and Stadium Stampede are at least slightly based in reality. Yeah, I can see that. So I would say the cinematic, realistic approach is probably what has been working the best. So I can't disagree with that whatsoever. Joseph says, I admit I'm curious for Raw tomorrow. Afterwards, go to Fightful Pro Wrestling on YouTube. Sean and Denise will react to everything. Yes, we will. And Chris says, oh man, you're not going to make friends with that one, Chris. All right. And then Edgar wants to know why they would do Asuka like that. We went into that, guys. I don't think she deserved that either. Nick White says, I'm a little surprised Seth didn't lose so he could take some time off with Becky. And that was honestly, that was a thought by some people. Like, if he lost, obviously he would take some time off. And if Rey Mysterio lost, take some time off too. So I don't know what's going to happen, guys. Miguel says, I like the name, The Horror Show, and it sounds great for a pay-per-view. Injection 2K says, IDK if it's because I'm a Bray Wyatt mark, but I loved it. Bray's strength in talking, but his weakness is the storytelling in his wrestling at times. Not all. Alamo. Okay, Injection, not a bad comment, honestly. I see that. I like Bray Wyatt. I wouldn't say I'm a Bray Wyatt super fan, but I do enjoy his work. D-Train says that he thinks that Rey Mysterio would be back by SummerSlam. And Cody Hunter says it was horrible, must admit. And thank you so much to Sanso. Says jam that jam. Yes, guys, please support Wrestle Talk as well. I'm so thankful to them for all the opportunities they have given me, and like I really hope to do more work for them in the future. So fingers crossed. Hopefully that happens. Tweet at them, guys. Tweet at Wrestle Talk and say, we want Denise. We want Denise, so that it can happen. All right, guys. Amaya says, saw you at the Wrestle Talk live reaction and followed you here. You definitely know your wrestling. Keep it up, Denise. Thank you so much. Sharif says, Extreme Rules, the horrible show. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, man. Javier says, Seth looked regretful at the end. I wonder what's going to happen. And Mesmer Heart says, what was your favorite women's match of the weekend? I would say Asuka, Sasha. Without the ending, though, obviously. And DTMR says, I've been liking Brave when the Bryant family first appeared. Now that the Fiend is around, I love him. And Joseph says, if you believe rumors in your window is that Ray has been working without a contract for a good while. Yep, it's been reported that he's been working without a contract for a while, so who knows? Miguel Mickey says, the audience making noise with hitting the glass was kind of annoying. It didn't really distract me, so I don't think so. Edgar says, Denise to Wrestle Talk confirmed. Haha. No, not yet. But hey, fingers crossed, right? Amaya says, too many cinematic matches up for it till they have a good storytelling with the matches. Guess this is the new WWE norm now. Well, it's a good way considering that right now with the audiences, you got to come up with some other stuff. Michael Hernandez says, I was so happy to see you on Wrestle Talk. Support Wrestle Talk. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So that's looking like that is our show for today. We did over an hour, which is my longest live stream. And considering that it's just me, I'm happy that we were able to go over an hour. I can talk forever, so I'm not going to do that to you guys. But I just want to thank you guys so much for coming on here, for coming to my channel, for supporting me. As a reminder, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm sure a lot of you guys have already, but keep subscribing. I post a variety of content here. I post pop culture stuff. I post pro wrestling stuff. So you guys will be seeing a lot of different types of content. But you know what? It's stuff that I love to talk about. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Thank you so much, Chris, who says this was a great stream. So I hope you guys enjoy the channel. Guys, please tweet at Wrestle Talk and Fightful and let them know Denise rocks, all right? So hopefully they can bring me on some more. Other than that, I will be on Monday night post-Raw live stream with Sean Ross Sapp on Fightful. That is happening tomorrow. So please be there. We always have a lot of fun. A lot of people say a lot of really great stuff about that show. So I think you guys will enjoy it. And then Wednesday, from the looks of it, I will be on The List and Your Girl number 5. So that's also happening this week. So you will at least see me twice this week on wrestling related podcasts. So yeah, there you guys go. That's what's going to be happening. Please enjoy the channel. Please subscribe. Tell your friends about me. Thank you so much for all of your guys' support. I really appreciate it. Please do not forget to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Once again, do not forget to like, comment, and share. Enjoy your night, everyone. Thank you so much. This was Extreme Rules, the horror show live stream. Goodbye, everyone.